The Indonesian archipelago is home to a rich and diverse history, dating back over 1 million years. The earliest known inhabitants of the region were Homo erectus, who arrived on the island of Java around 1.7 million years ago. Over time, the archipelago was populated by a variety of different ethnic groups, each with its own unique culture and language. Early kingdoms. The first major kingdoms in Indonesia emerged around the 7th century AD. The most powerful of these kingdoms was Srivijaya, which controlled a maritime empire that extended from Sumatra to mainland Southeast Asia. Srivijaya was a major center of trade and culture, and it played a key role in the spread of Buddhism and Hinduism in the region. Another important kingdom was the Sailendra dynasty, which ruled over central Java from the 8th to the 10th centuries. The Sailendras are best known for building the Borobudur Temple, which is the largest Buddhist monument in the world. Age of Islam. Beginning in the 13th century, Islam began to spread rapidly throughout the Indonesian archipelago. By the 16th century, Islam had become the dominant religion in the region. The rise of Islam led to the decline of the Hindu and Buddhist kingdoms, and the emergence of new Islamic sultanates. The most powerful of these sultanates was Aceh, which ruled over northern Sumatra from the 17th to the 19th centuries. Aceh was a major center of trade and Islamic scholarship, and it played a key role in the spread of Islam to other parts of Southeast Asia. Colonialism. In the early 17th century, European traders began to arrive in Indonesia. The Portuguese were the first to arrive, followed by the Dutch and the British. The Dutch East India Company eventually established a monopoly on trade in the region, and by the 18th century, the Dutch had become the dominant colonial power in Indonesia. Dutch colonial rule was often harsh and exploitative. The Dutch forced Indonesians to work on plantations and in mines, and they imposed heavy taxes on the population. The Dutch also suppressed Indonesian culture and language. Independence movement. In the late 19th century, an independence movement began to emerge in Indonesia. This movement was led by nationalist leaders such as Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta. The independence movement gained momentum during World War II, when the Japanese occupied Indonesia. After the Japanese surrendered in 1945, Sukarno and Hatta proclaimed Indonesia's independence. However, the Dutch refused to recognize Indonesian sovereignty, and a war of independence ensued. The war lasted for 4 years, and it ended with the Dutch recognizing Indonesia's independence in 1949. Post-independence. After independence, Indonesia faced a number of challenges. The country was economically underdeveloped, and it was plagued by political instability. In 1965, a coup attempt led to the overthrow of Sukarno and the establishment of a military dictatorship under General Suharto. Suharto's dictatorship ruled Indonesia for over 30 years. During this time, Indonesia experienced economic growth and political stability. However, Suharto's regime was also accused of corruption and human rights abuses. In 1998, Suharto was forced to resign after mass protests. Indonesia transitioned to democracy, and it has since become one of the largest and most vibrant democracies in the world. Conclusion. Indonesia has a rich and complex history. The country has been shaped by a variety of different cultures and religions, and it has overcome a number of challenges to become the independent and democratic nation that it is today.